You are in the mouth of the beast. Under the mysterious taxodium trees, with their aerial roots like teeth, lies a pond. Believe it or not, there used to be a church here dedicated to the Holy Mary. Water has always been linked with the feminine universe. There is usually an altar or a chapel next to a spring. This pond, populated by ducks and fish, collects the water coming from Mount Sumano and the Bonifacia spring in the villa. It also welcomes rainwater carried by the streams that crisscross the park. If you think about it, there are two kinds of water: still water that mirrors its surroundings like this pond, and flowing, singing waters such as creeks with sparks of light reflecting off the surface like wet stars. Let's pretend to be landscape architects and learn the tricks of their trade. Matching different shades of green, weaving together paths and streams, shaping the ground and playing with perspective, mixing proportions and composition as if it were a painting. These are all crafty ways to create visual effects, to stretch out the space or to shrink it, to make it higher, longer, more mysterious, more intimate. Let's look at the banks of the pond, at how the surrounding nature is mirrored in the water. Have you worked out any other tricks? Here's the recipe for a perfect English garden. To understand the park of Santorso, we should take a step back. In the Italian garden, symmetry was a tool used to turn nature into architecture and enclose it within a wall, almost as though the garden itself were a room of brick and stone. Traditional gardens in Veneto were geometrically laid out in front of the villa and faded into the countryside, welcoming it as a background as it happened in paintings. It was important to consider the natural environment as part of the living space, strengthening the inhabitants' sense of belonging. Unfortunately, we often forget to do it. At the end of the 18th century, especially across the Alps, the Romantic movement was promoting an idea of nature that found its ultimate expression in the picturesque garden. Here, the natural landscape was no longer in the background, but very much under the spotlight. Drawing inspiration from painting, architects recreated such scenery in an attempt to replicate the emotions aroused by wilderness. It was a time of travel and exploration, with travelers collecting mementos from past eras or exotic places. Architecture became eclectic. That is, it incorporated elements from all styles in history, depending on the context. Thus, each place became a journey in itself, a miniature universe where emotions and thoughts could flow freely, leading to new experiences. Here in Santorso is a prime example of this new way of shaping landscapes. An oasis where you can get lost and then find yourself again. An encyclopedia of rare species, tangible poetry or music or novels. Strolling through the park, every visitor can feel like an explorer discovering new territories. It's an offering to imagination and dreams.